Hi guys, Wern here, Vaping Wern, and I'm here today to record a short introductory video to a new e-liquid which has recently made its way on the Vaping Wern store, and that is Havana by TVI, or in full name, the Vape Inc. Now, I first came across Havana sometime early this year, and it was sort of a chance meeting because I was introduced to the brewers during one of those late night vape sessions which I have with my friends. Now, this was back in January, I believe, and at the time they asked me if I would be interested to taste their e-liquid, their new e-liquid, if I was interested to give them some feedback on how they could tweak the recipes. And of course, being the adventurous guy, being the cheap guy I am, I said, sure, I'm up to taste any new e-liquids. And soon enough, they passed me about 5 small tester bottles like this, full of e-liquids, 4 or 5 different flavors. And among the flavors that they gave me, the one that stood out the most was this one that's labeled H. I believe I did a sort of mystery e-liquid review some time back, and this bottle was from that review. If you refer back to the video, I do mention that among the bottles, H was my favorite, and that recipe went on to become Havana, what Havana is today. Right? Now, let me just start by giving you the main differences between what I tested back then and what I have right now. Back then, H or Havana, on your first vape, the first inhale, you taste nothing but menthol. Uh, it was so cold then. It was so cold. But as a vapor of menthol flavors, even when I was a smoker, I used to smoke menthol flavors. It didn't disturb me that much. The level of menthol didn't disturb me that much. But I found that the level of menthol did block out the primary flavor of the e-liquid for at least one tank. You had to go through at least one tank before you started really tasting the main flavor base. Now, based on my feedback and the feedback of a few other people, the brewers, they decided to tweak down the level of menthol to make the guava the hero of the e-liquid. And I think that is a bloody good call, because on the retail version of Havana, straight from the aroma to the first time it hits your tongue, your palate goes through your mouth, through the exhale, you get pink guava flavor all the way. Confession time, I've never actually eaten pink guava. I've eaten a ton of guava, the green kind, but not pink guava. But I have drank pink guava juice quite frequently before, either from the box pack, the Peel Fresh brand, or in cocktails, in restaurants, during hotel buffet breakfasts. You know, they have those boxes of milk and pink guava juice and orange juice. So yeah, I have had my fair share of pink guava juice. And when it comes to flavor reproduction, Havana does pretty well. And I'm referring to the final product. It really does pretty well to reflect that flavor of pink guava juice. Now, I'm not going to compare it to the fruit, again, because I haven't eaten the fruit. But when compared to pink guava juice, if 5 was drinking the juice right there and then, and 1 was drinking a cup of water, I would say that Havana scores 3.94. It does give you a pretty accurate representation of the flavor. But there are a couple of characteristics of guava juice which are pretty unique to the juice. For starters, pink guava juice is very thick, it's very viscous. So, it's like drinking guava flavored water as opposed to drinking guava juice. You get the flavor, you get the aroma, but you don't get the whole experience of it. So I can't give it a 5. Again, if I was giving it a 5, there'd be some serious problems there, because they can make vapor feel viscous. But in terms of flavor representation, the flavor sort of connection that I have to drinking pink guava juice, definitely a 4. Now, in terms of the menthol, it has been greatly reduced compared to the beta, which I first tested. In some cases, you'll find that it's pretty non-existent. And one of the cases is when you vape it on silica. I have it here in my K-Fun Mini 2.1. This is running on silica 1 ohm coil. To be frank, I do not get menthol on the inhale. I do not get menthol when it's in my mouth, but I do get a hint of menthol on the exhale. And, you know, because of that, I wouldn't classify it as a menthol liquid or a cold liquid. But I do think that the hint of menthol on the exhale does help as a sort of palate cleanser. It helps to sort of clean off the last bit of the flavor from your palate so it doesn't linger for a long time. On the exhale, you still do get that taste of pink guava, on your palate when you suck your tongue, when you lick your lips. You do get that flavor there still, but it's not as intense. It's nowhere near as intense as it is when you inhale. And again, I attribute that to the touch of menthol as a palate cleanser. And that means that you can vape this for quite a while, in the sense that this is suitable for an all-day vape. It's not one of those vapes which you go through half a tank, you put your tank down, you pull out another tank, and continue on that. You could go one whole night just on Havana itself. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the throat hit on Havana. Again, going back to the beta, the throat hit was very mellow on the beta, and that again is because of the amount of menthol there. And the first thing that definitely hit me more than the flavor base itself on the retail version was the amount of throat hit that Havana retail version gives you. On paper or on plastic, Havana is a 9 mg liquid, 9 mg of nicotine per ml. So it's not really considered a strong liquid in any sense of the word. I know a lot of Europeans, Americans, they routinely vape 16, 18, 24 mg liquids. But the Malaysian taste usually goes between 6 to 9 mg. When you vape something that's 12 mg, people already go, wow, that's going to be strong. And I guess it's sort of a conditioning which we put ourselves through because of what's available on the market and how we compare it to the cigarettes that we used to smoke before. Comparing Havana to as a 9 mg liquid to other 9 mg liquids, both local blend and international blend, I found that the throat hit on Havana was much stronger. And at first, I thought that was only based on the amount of nicotine. I actually asked the brewer if they had put in too much nicotine. And they came back to me and told me, no, the throat hit is more due to the flavoring that they use, as opposed to the sort of level of nicotine that they used. The main reason being that guava itself is a very strong flavor. It's not a how would I say? If you mix guava with something like a pear, you definitely will not taste the pear anymore. You will get the guava flavor up front. You have to mix guava with an equally strong flavor, something like let's say sour mango, to sort of equalize the flavor, right? So guava itself is a very strong flavor. When you eat guava, if you eat too much, you do sort of get a sore throat too. And they claim that the flavor base is a natural flavor base. It's extracted from the fruits itself. So I'm guessing that maybe part of the characteristics of the fruit has imparted onto the e-liquid as well, in terms that you get a stronger throat hit. So if you buy this liquid, you vape it and you feel, boy, this liquid is so off, the throat is so high for 9 mg, don't worry. What I can recommend you do is to let it steep for a few days. It should mellow it out a bit more, but the fact of the matter is that the pink guava flavor itself does sort of contribute to the amount of throat hit that you get, right? Having said that, compared to another 9 mg liquid, 1 being a very weak throat hit, 5 being a solid punch in your throat, I would say that Havana gives a 3.5. It's a very solid punch, but it's not one that will give you a sore throat or give you a dry throat, make you chappy. It's one that gets you satisfied. Picture this, you just had a big steak meal, you just had a glass of wine, and now would be typically the time where you pull out your cigarettes and have a puff or two. Vaping Havana fills that void in a sense that it gives you a solid enough throat hit to make you satisfied after having such a good meal. Put it this way, you're waking up in the morning, you feel groggy as hell, you have a big cup of black coffee, you have a few pumps of Havana, sip on your coffee, and life is good. It's not one of those e-liquids that you can vape through a whole tank and not feel it on your throat at all. Trust me, I've been through a lot of e-liquids over the past year, and I have encountered some e-liquids which have virtually no throat hit at all. So yeah, if you're talking about a solid throat hit, Havana gives you a solid throat hit. Out of 5, I'll put it 3.5. Okay, now out of sweetness, in terms of sweetness, first we'll talk about what sweetness that we can see. And I use this term because certain blends of e-liquids, they use a lot of sucralose, or is it sucralose? Sucralose or stevia, which are artificial sweeteners. Now, using artificial sweetener, it's not a bad thing. Almost all e-liquids use artificial sweeteners in their recipe. It's just a matter of how much and how little, right? So certain e-liquids, when you vape it, they are super flavorful, but when you open up your coil, after 1 tank, you find it completely gunked up. Certain e-liquids, when you vape them, in the first puff you go, oh god, that's too sweet. You put it down, never vape it again. That is too sweet. But for Havana, I'm very glad to say that after running close to 5 tanks on my Versa, running 3 tanks to 4 tanks on my K-Fun, I ran a few tanks on my Typhoon. Confession, right now I've already gone through 4 bottles of Havana, right? So yeah, I go through a lot of e-liquids. And I found that across the board, whether it's a cotton setup, a mesh setup, or a silica setup, you do not get gunk buildup on your coil. So that would be a very good point in terms of sweetness that you can see. So if all it takes is 1 drop of e-liquid to gunk up your coils, and 5 was there's no gunk at all, I'll put Havana at 4. Now, I'm not giving Havana a 5, because 5 again is a perfect score. I find it very hard to award things a perfect score. Probably after maybe half a year of constant using of Havana, if I notice that there is still no gunking on my coils, then I will definitely upgrade the score to a 5. But right now, in terms of what you can see, sweetness you can see, I put it at a 4, which is a very good mark in my opinion. Moving on, sweetness which you can taste. Again, the example I gave you, certain liquids, 1 pump and you just put it down, never vape it again. Havana is not like that. You do get a sense of sweetness, but it's not an artificial sweetness in the sense that they add sweetener. It's more of a sweetness that enhances the fruit flavor. It does bring out the fruit flavor from the flavor base, and I think that's a good balance. So in terms of sweetness you can taste, if 1 was super sweet, 1 puff, you put the whole bottle down. And if 5 was absolutely nothing. They're just vaping pure PGVG, no taste at all. This one sits right at the sweet spot. I would say 2.5, right at the sweet spot. It's as sweet as it should be, not too sweet, not sweet enough. 2.5. So I find that as a very good score in terms of sweetness you can taste. Okay, so we've done throat hit, we've done flavor base, we've done sweetness. I probably should do a vapor production, but vapor production is a very subjective thing. Vapor production, it depends on your coil, your setup, the diameter of your air hole, your voltage or wattage, so many factors. So I'm just going to take a few drags of my Versa. This is running a UWIC 1.2 stock air hole, a 1 ohm coil. So it's not a crazy build. It's not a cloud chasing build. It's just a regular daily vape build, right? So I'm just going to show you the vapor production on that. So I think that's a pretty satisfactory sort of vapor production for my setup based on all the criteria, or rather all of the specifications of this atomizer. Nothing too crazy. It's something that I use all day. So enough vapor in my opinion. I'm also going to show it to you on a silica tank. Now this is a K-Fun Mini. Again, it's running silica. This is a 1 ohm coil build and it's running on a Touchwood with an 18350 battery. Yeah, as you can see again, it's not a crazy build. The air hole is only about 3/4 of the way open. Um, Again, this is another sort of daily build which I use on a daily basis. And the vapor reduction is quite satisfactory in my books. Um, Disclaimer, I'm not a cloud chaser, uh, although occasionally I do indulge with some quad coil dripping, but no, I'm not a cloud chaser, so I find that that level of vapor is pretty satisfactory for my liking. Okay, I've talked about all of that. What else is there left to talk about? I guess that pretty much covers it. Now, I know I should have said this disclaimer part before I started the video, but I'm going to say it now anyway, instead of not saying it at all. Yes, I sell Havana on my website. Havana is available on vapingwern.com select store, but this video isn't made to oversell or overhype the liquid. Uh, Even though I gave it those scores, I truly believe that Havana is one of the great new liquids to hit the market. Pink guava is definitely an Asian taste, even though we drink it more than we eat it, admittedly. But yeah, pink guava is something that everyone has an what's that word? Affliction, has a connection to in some way or another. It's not a foreign taste for us, but it might be a foreign taste for you, which you want to sort of discover and enjoy. So please do give it a try. But back to the disclaimer, yes, I sell it. No, I'm not overselling it. I'm not trying to hype it out of proportion. I'm just trying to bring attention to something that's new, which has entered the shop. And I will be sticking to this sort of format when it comes to e-liquid videos in the future, whether it's a review or introduction video. Either way, I'll be doing a systematic scoring per se in terms of throat hit, flavoring, sweetness, what you can see, what you can taste, uh, and overall enjoyability, right? So all in all, I think that Havana has scored pretty high in each category. Out of 10, 10 being the perfect liquid, 1 being a total uh, I got in trouble for saying piece of shite before, but one being the absolute pits. I would say Havana, it goes around the 8 point, 8 over 10. I rate it pretty well, and please do give it a try. Now, I've talked for 20 minutes. I just seem to go on and on, don't I? Well, anyway, I'm going to leave you with a last vape. It's hump day, it's Wednesday. 2 more days to the weekend. Have a good one, guys. Vape on, brothers.